Long time. My name is Gina, and this is my channel where I like to talk about my knitting. I have lots of finished objects today, and whips and hose, and which is a half object, and I have a lot of stuff I want to show you today. I've been really going through a lot of my stuff, like a lot of my unfinished things. I've been digging into all kinds of old whips and getting them out and working on them and finishing them. So isn't that amazing? Anyway, so the previous video I posted, you guys didn't like that. You guys didn't like that video. Maybe some of you did, but I think the Luigi content and the subsequent things I talked about with the Luigi content, in fact, me just saying his name, I'm probably going to delete that. I got shadow banned on YouTube where they did not show that video to people. Some people saw it, but it was the worst performing video of anything I've ever posted, probably. And I lost about 300 subscribers. I'm probably still hemorrhaging subscribers. Yeah, I guess how I feel about that is as strongly as I feel about things. I do think that this is a classic knitting podcast where I show you my stuff, and it's probably not a place where controversial things or the things that I'm thinking about, obsessing about, it's probably not a good idea because, you know, to share this with you because they can be stressful. And I think a lot of people watch these videos to get ideas about things that they want to knit or crochet or whatever. I'm about to sneeze. But I don't think that it is a place that people want to, you know, sort of get aggravated, and I think that that showed. Though I do think that the algorithm and stuff was against me, because I do think that anything that pertaining to the man that went pew pew to the CEO, I think anything related to that is going to be shadow banned, and you're not going to see it. And but there were more issues with that video, obviously, than that. But so I'm going to try to keep it light. I don't live my life that way. I don't keep it light, but I will keep it light for you if that's what you want. So that's what you're going to get. So, and that's fine. It's fine. I can talk about all the other stuff with my friends on my walks with Buddy. So I'm good with it. It's all right. I don't have to say everything I'm thinking all the time in these videos. I don't have to deep dive down the rabbit holes as much as I have. So I'm not going to do it anymore. Okay? Let's see. What am I wearing? I am wearing Sunset Highway by Caitlin Hunter. I used to just knit every single thing that she did, and I've kind of just sort of I'm not lost my love affair of Caitlin Hunter patterns, but I do enjoy other people's patterns. You know, I mean, let's see. Who are my favorites? I love Hohe. Stephen West has some really good sweater patterns. There's just a lot. Ozetta, Petite Knit. Yeah, there's a lot of other really good patterns out there, pattern writers out there. I mean, I really went down that major Caitlin Hunter. Like every new sweat she came out with, I had to knit it. It was almost like crack. Like I just didn't have a choice. But I'm over it. The magic is gone. Nothing wrong with her patterns. It's just the magic is gone. They just seem like a rehashing somehow of the same thing. I don't know. I do, and this yarn is very old. It's a combination of junk yarn and Asylum fibers and a few other color work. It's not skein cocaine yarn, and I didn't weave in my ends, so. Okay, so speaking of color work, so some of my finished objects, I whipped this out and finished it. And this is the Celeste pullover by Petite Knit. And I love this thing. But I went totally rogue on it. So I had 4 colors of skein cocaine yarn. So let's see if I can show them all to you. So there's 2 different colored greens. There's Blue Ridge, which is the darker one. There's Denim, which is the lighter blue. There's Pumpkin Spice Latte right there. And then there's Foxglove, which is the purple. And then the body of it is Diamonds and Pearls. And Diamonds and Pearls has some neat kind of little speckles of royal blue and has a lot of different cool colors. Well, I went rogue on the sweater about right here. So if you look at this and say, this doesn't look like the Celeste I made, well, that's because it's very, very different. I just completely, you know, once I got to about here, I was just like, I just want to keep doing these slip stitches. I want to keep doing, I changed colors whenever I want. You know, I kind of went green, and then I went brown and warm, and then I went green, and yeah, I had a blast, but it is not to pattern. I think I started out doing the small size, and then I just winged it. I made the sleeves extra long ribbing. You see it's like 6 inches at least. A fairly long ribbing on the bottom. The neck is fairly long with the ribbing, 1 by 1 ribbing. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I really do. it just really is right up my alley. And we are going to have kits for this. So you're going to get 50 gram. We haven't decided yet. Are we going to do 50 grams for the color work colors, or are we going to actually do minis? Because I don't know if minis would be enough. Minis are typically DK minis are typically only 80 yards, I think. And I'm not sure that's enough to do the color work. But we're going to do full-size skeins of the Diamonds and Pearls, and then we're going to do either minis or 50 gram skeins of all the other colors. And so you can buy this. You just keep checking back in the show notes underneath the video, because that's typically, I may not finish, you know, I might not immediately when you're seeing this, or I fully put this video up. I don't typically have everything perfect in the show notes. I will add as we dye the yarn, or, you know, like it's not immediately the second the video goes out. So we're going to be working on those. So keep your eye out for that. So I showed you this. I can never think of the name of the sweater, but it's on the screen. I picked this up and did the sleeves. This is out of my Dream Yak Surrey base. I did the sleeves. I made a mistake, and I noticed after I was done that I had dropped a stitch. And so I put a little stitch marker in there. I have no idea whether I'm going to be able to go back and pick that up. I just haven't decided what I'm going to do. This sweater is completely wrong on so many levels. I've already discussed it. This was supposed to be triple stranded, and I single stranded it. It was supposed to have these sort of boning, I think is the word for it. It was supposed to sort of go around your bosom, Instead, I have just like one going down the center. You see that sort of spine going down the center all the way? I mean, this, and it's also freakishly small. I blocked it and it didn't get any bigger. You know how superwash just really stretches? Well, this one didn't stretch. So I guess I tried it on. It's cute, but I mean, it's not something I would actually wear in public. Marcella might wear it like to a homecoming dance or something, possibly. I don't know. And it may just stay, it may just stay on the rolling rack in my office, which, by the way, I'm going to show you my office today. So all the times you see me in front of the wall of yarn, I'm going to walk around with the camera. I'm just going to show you what it looks like, just so you know. Okay, so I finished this. You know, I had sleeves left to do, and I did them. And it was, oh, by the way, if you notice, this is 1x1 rib, twisted rib Surrey, yak Surrey. Talk about, I mean, kill me now, okay? Not fun. But it's absolutely stunningly beautiful, so that kept me going. Okay, I also finished 2 Sophie scarves. I finished one for Sarah. She and I, and remember Leslie and Stephanie and Laura, we went to Rhinebeck, not this past year, but the year before, the one that we won, Rhinebeck. What was I going to say about that? Oh, so when Sarah was at Woolen Folk, or the Fire Festival, she fell in love with the Clinton Hill cashmere, but you know, she's not a knitter really. She knits a little bit, like hats every couple years or something like that. Not really into it that much, even though she wants to. She bought one skein of Clinton Hill cashmere in kind of like a sage green color, and she just would never, you know, she wanted to make the Sophie scarf, and she just wanted to make one skein into a Sophie scarf, and every time that she did it, she got really confused. She couldn't figure out where to do the increases, and she just got really, really confused. So she decided that she wasn't going to do it. So I did it for her. So, yeah, there it is. It's a nice, it's very soft. Very, very soft. It was out of the DK weight, I believe. Bespoke, maybe? I can't remember. We did that. But then I did the Sophie shawl. And that's, bigger. And I will tell you that and this is out of my watercolor colorway, which there is skeins of this on the website. So you can actually go to the show notes below and get this yarn right now. I love this yarn so much. So much. Anyway, so the whole idea of the Sophie shawl and scarf is you start with just a few stitches, I-cord, and then you increase only on one side. One side stays the same. Every so often you increase until you get, so I had 2 skeins. This is what I did, 2 skeins. So I knew if I had 2 skeins of this DK, God, I just love this colorway so much, that I would do the first skein until until it was finished, and then I would know I would have exactly the same amount of yardage to go the other way. So here is the point of the scarf. There's the point, and then I finished with the other skein. So yeah, I mean, she recommends 3 skeins of worsted, I think, but I just wanted to use this yarn because I just thought it was just so freaking gorgeous. So it's plenty big for me. It's plenty big, but if you want it bigger, get a 3rd skein or use 3 skeins of worsted or DK or whatever, but I love this. And the Sophie's, I don't agonize about how often I'm increasing or decreasing. I look, and if it looks about an inch, I eyeball it. Then I will, I make sure I do it always on the same side, but I don't stress about, like, I don't have a clicker exactly or marking down, okay, this has been 8 rows. I just eyeball it. It's about an inch long, and yeah, I love it. And it doesn't make it, what I'm saying is it doesn't make any difference. That's what I'm trying to say. It makes no difference if you count or you just eyeball it. It makes no difference. So to me, not having to count my rows and just eyeball it makes this such a relaxing pattern. I mean, I just want to keep making these. I want to make these for gifts next Christmas, the bigger versions, because we've had some significant cold weather here this year in Blacksburg. So yeah, I love it. So that's that. I didn't show you this. I was supposed to show you this Soho square. Cute, right? Okay. What else? What else? What else did I finish? Maybe that's it. I have been working diligently on my blankets. I've been in a crochet mood, and I have wanted to do blankets for a while, and I have 3 crocheted blankets going. So I want to show those to you. Difficult to show you though. I mean, they're huge, and so I don't even know how I'm going to do this. I'll show you the color I just finished up with because it just drives me crazy. I'm so in love with it. This is my special, the special. This is on DK. Can you see that really well? I hope you can see that. And I'm using, for this particular one, this is a DK worsted one, I'm using a 5.5 millimeter, which looks like it's an eye. So I'm using that for this one. So this is my worsted DK granny stripe from Attic 24, I believe. Pretty sure it's Attic 24. I did about 300 chains initially, but the pattern will explain that to you. Loving it, but look, it's big. And then I'm doing a similar one. Those are all like brights, okay? And so then I decided that my bedroom is all different colors of, like, soothing, natural colors, like nothing bright. And so I wanted to have one that was more like natural colors. So this one though, I'm using a slightly smaller, I'm using a 3.75 millimeter F hook. And these are all like clover kind of, these have like a little squishy, I like these a lot. They feel really good in my hands. I think they're clover. But anyway, so I decided to do one that's kind of, kind of pastel-y. Pastel, sort of. I've done a lot on this one. But still a long way to go. Another 300 chain. So that. And then I have, this is the color I'm currently working with, sort of a neutral, sort of blushy kind of color. I have no idea what this is. The whole idea of the scrappy blankets is they are for, they're the, you know, the little odds and ends that you have laying around, or, you know, they're not to like break into the full skein things. They're for remnants. And then I have a small one. Let's see what I'm using this one with. I have a fingering weight one, and I'm using a C, which is 2.75. That's a C. And I'm doing a fingering weight one with all of my fingering weight scraps. This stripe right here, that stripe is yarn that I dyed back when I had my yarn shop. I had a yarn shop called Wool Workshop in Roanoke, Virginia, and there was, who was that woman who lived in England? Countess of Blaze, I think was her name. She had red hair, and she had a shop, and she was a dyer. I don't think she's still around. I don't think she's dyeing yarn anymore. But she did a fundraiser for breast cancer, and I took part in that. It was called the Tits Up Collective. This video is not for children. And so I had a cake of it left for myself, and I kept it all these years. It's been, gosh, at least 10 years or more. Probably about 10 years. And this was the skein of the Tits Up Collected. What I did was, I had never dyed anything before, and I went and I got fingering weight blanks, sock blanks, and I dyed them up to look like a fade, and they were on sparkle. But they're not real sparkly because, I mean, they're not even really sparkly at all. Oh no, this one isn't sparkly. I did have some that were sparkly. These are not. But this was the whole skein. So it started with yellow and went into all the oranges and ended with purple. And I used the entire skein on this, and it's my favorite part of the entire scrappy thing. I've probably worked on this blanket more than any other blanket, most likely. It's huge. And sometimes I weave in my ends, sometimes I don't, but here it is. This is so, and this is the colorway that I'm using right now. It's like a gray with some sort of yellow on it. So as you can see, I have a lot of blankets. They really are like weighted blankets. By the time I finish and they go on my bed, or everybody's bed, whoever wants one in the house, they're like a weighted blanket. They're really heavy, and I love that I'm using up skeins of yarn, like the remnants of things, of the projects over the years that I have done, the socks I have made, the colorways that we've dyed that I've made a project out of. So there's a lot of skein colorways in there, and others, I don't know, it's the scrappy blankets like this, it's like the cozy memory blankets. They're very, they bring you back to the projects that you've done in the past. Now, would I start another granny stripe blanket now? Probably not. Because there's just so many gorgeous blankets out right now. I mean, there's the Bakery Bears, she has one, and then Pearl Soho came out with a free one that looks just like it. Jelly Roll. The Jelly Roll is really cool looking. The Northeasterly blanket is really interesting and probably one of the prettiest out of all of them. But then the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose is spectacular. So I bought that pattern. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that in my office here as soon as I stand up and go show you my office. But there's so many other beautiful ones out right now. I've never done a Cozy Memory one where you do the little bias squares. I don't know why. Like, why did I gravitate towards these blankets and not that one? I'm not sure, because you're knitting as you go. I mean, I think I love crocheting too. I just don't really understand how to do patterns. Like, I couldn't look at a sweater pattern for crochet and know what I'm looking at. But this granny stripe, it's like a treble crochet or something. I mean, it's so easy and simple, and I guess that's why I started it. Oh, you know what else I did, but I don't like it that much. I mean, I like it. I bought an Advent from Homespun House one year, and I made her blanket, her like cozy striped blanket. It was free for her if you bought the Advent, so I got a code with the Advent, and I opened up all of her things and I threw them in a bag, and I made the blanket randomly pulling the skeins, and she had done such a beautiful fade, and it would have been so much prettier if I had done a fade. And so I never really like it. I don't really like it. It's pretty. I mean, it's okay. It's pretty. It's all right. But anyway, so that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been crocheting a lot, finishing those sweaters. Stephanie took some of my other sweaters home that were just languishing, and she's finishing up some projects for me too. So I've been really desperate to kind of get things done, get things off my, my plate. Oh shoot, I have a pair of socks I have to show you. I'll show you when I go into the office, because I think they're in the office. Yeah, they are in the office. Okay, let's see. So what are my plans? Well, I will tell you a couple things that are going on with Buddy. Buddy, I took Buddy, Buddy and I, he's about 9 now. And Buddy is my golden retriever. He's my dog. And we go on these really long walks together. And one day we were walking and he started limping. And it was really, really bad, like really bad. He could barely walk, but he could run, but he couldn't walk. So I guess, he has 3 other legs, he can get moving or whatever. And I took him to the vet, and they gave him an x-ray, and they told me that he had a torn ACL and that he maybe has the beginnings of hip dysplasia, but the immediate problem is the torn ACL. And I asked them, well, will it get better on its own? Probably not. How much is the surgery? The Virginia Tech vet school would take care of it to the tune of $7,000 to $10,000, somewhere in there. Buddy is not a young dog. He's 9. And I think Goldens only live, at max 15. I don't know a single Golden that lived that long. probably 12, something like that. But if they had told me he had bone cancer or something like that, I would say, okay, we're going to take him home and love on him for a couple of days, and then we need to get him euthanized and all of that. But the potential, like this ACL thing, if I can get that fixed for him, then he can be better. Now, he really still wants to go on walks, so he's feeling okay. He just can't walk very well. And so we now, in fact, the vet said don't walk him at all, but he has to walk. He cannot, that's like telling me not to walk or exercise. I would go insane and like have to stick my head in the toilet. I would just feel completely insane. Like, I have to exercise. I have to move my body. Well, Buddy also needs to do that as well. So I've been walking him here and there, like a mile max, you know, around the block a few times a day. But I'm considering doing the surgery. However, it's a lot of money and we really cannot afford it. I mean, especially, he cost us almost $10,000 last year with allergy shots and ear infection medicines, and he's had 2 tumors removed from his skin, like a big tumor on his back and he had a big tumor on his head. They were benign, so we, you know, but they would, like, he would bump into things and they would bleed all over the place. And so we just really basically we have been spending an outrageous amount of money on this dog, and that's fine. We love him, all of that. But we're considering giving him this ACL tear surgery. And so I want to do a fundraiser, as in I have a sock set that I want to sell, and the money is going to go 100% to his ACL surgery. So the colorway is called A Walk with Buddy, and it's drying right now on the racks as we speak. But I have a picture of it, and it's like the color of his skin, the color of his fur with like rainbow sprinkles on it. It's really beautiful, and you're going to get that plus a mini, so you can do heels, toes, and cuffs. It's going to be on my sock base, my siren sock base, and there's a link for it under the video. So so this is a fundraiser, but you're not donating money. It's that I'm going to use the money that I make from the sale of this sock set to use for Buddy's surgery, because we really can't afford it. I mean, that's a lot of money, especially how much we have been spending on our pets lately. Like, we have a cat, Shady, who's a Siamese, that's had some serious problems with her teeth, and she's had oral surgery, and I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of money just flowing out. So I'm not going to do the surgery unless I can actually pay for it, you know, with something other than, you know, the normal income that we have coming in. So hopefully you'll want to be part of A Walk with Buddy to get him back walking again, jumping in creeks and loving his life again. So that's down below. It's A Walk with Buddy. So that's going on. What else? I guess we should just, I know what I'm reading. So I'm reading this book. And I'm only 20, 30 pages in. It's, all I can say, it's bizarre, but it's like science fiction, and it's just bizarre, but it's delicious. So, I don't know how to say it. Her house is no ordinary building. Its rooms are infinite. Its corridors endless. Its walls lined with thousands upon thousands of statues. Within the labyrinth of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. Waves thunder up staircases. Rooms are flooded in an instant. But it's not afraid. Oh, it's a man. Sorry. He understands the tides as he understands the pattern of the labyrinth himself. He lives to explore the house. So he goes around and there's another person there. This is like not Earth, and maybe if it is, it's not like we think about it, but it's fascinating and interesting so far. It's just rich and wondrous and joyful and all of those good things. So I'm really liking it so far. What are we watching? We are watching Severance, of course. What else would we be watching? Severance is the best show on TV in the history of shows. I would say Game of Thrones was what I used to think was like my favorite series of all time. No, Severance. Incredible. I love it so much. If you haven't watched the first season, go watch the first season. The second season is on its way. We're like on episode 7, something like that. But it is... It's directed by Ben Stiller. It is so layered and nuanced and clever and like what the hell's going on. So the basic idea is that you go to work and there's this thing in your brain that when you go down the elevator, it makes you turn into a different part of yourself called an innie. And the innie is basically only alive at work at Lumen Industries. And then at the end of the workday, the innie goes back in the elevator and goes back up and becomes the outie, and the outie has no idea. It's a different person, basically, like a different part of that person. So the innie doesn't know about the outie, and the outie doesn't know anything about the innie, and yet they're the same person. So it's but oh wow, it's over the top. I mean, just the colors of the show, it's just absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it. We had finished the Silo series, and the Silo series, I think that's on Netflix. I hope I'm telling you right. If it's not, I'll say otherwise. But why I even decided to watch the Silo series, Tim Robbins is in it, by the way, and he looks hot with a beard. He looks amazing. But the reason that I really wanted to watch the show is because I had read the books. They are called the Wool series. And so when I worked for Knitting Fever as a sales rep, and that's another story you might want to hear about, but I was a Mid-Atlantic rep for Knitting Fever on the East Coast. I did that for about 4 years. One of the stores I called on was a store called Knit in Charleston, South Carolina. And the woman that owned it, her name was Gay. I assume she's still alive. Her name is Gay. And it was a beautiful, absolutely beautiful store. But her son, Hugh Howey, I believe that's his name, wrote the book Wool. And it was about these people in a silo underground, and they didn't know why they were there. And the mayor of the town in the silo knit, and a lot of knitting was sort of woven through the story, at least the first story. But then when I guess someone decided to buy the rights to make the TV adaptation, all of the knitting basically got taken out of it, and they changed the name to the Silo or Silo. So Wool series, incredible. If you just want to read one of the books, read Wool. That's the first one. Incredible. Incredible. Again, I like sci-fi. That's my genre, but it's still so good. And the series, though, is it's not the same. It has a lot of differences, but I enjoyed it. I've watched the 2 seasons already. I've been watching it because it's not following exactly. It has very similar things going on, but the storyline diverges in different ways. And so I'm kind of curious to know you know, how it's kept me involved in it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, you know, it's like Harry Potter and then the movies are really similar, or Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and the movies are really similar. Wool and Silo are not similar. They are sort of similar, but they're not the same storyline exactly. But they're both really good. So if I could recommend two shows right now, it would be Silo and Severance. I know that there's some movie recommendations, but I can't think of them at the moment. So not prepared. But let's go look in my office so you can see my office. Okay? Okay. All right, I'm in my office. So up there's a picture of Ben. This is a painting that my dad did of my mother when she was young. So I have organized my stash as like by color. So there's my reds, my purples. You're gonna see right away like what colors I like a lot. You're gonna see I like lots of colors. And then we go into purples and pinks. And I love this cube. I think this is just so gorgeous. All the textures and colors. I just love it. And then we got oranges and the greens and the blues. Whoops, tag down. And then I have a few books. I don't have a lot, but I do have some. And there is one of my crochet blankets I didn't show you. It's a single crochet blanket. I'll show it to you. And there's my earth stripe shawl. Look at that. Whoa, lights. That's my earth stripe shawl. And then we move over here to some china on the top that my mother gave me that I have no idea where to go. It's some sort of Limoges, France something, but... And then we're getting into the darker colors, the blacks, the navies, the blues, some shoes, and then my grays, my beautiful, beautiful grays. Very bright. And then I have a couple things. Sorry about the lighting. It's not really working that well. Let's see. And then I have a little rack where I like to put some of my samples that I have knitted. It's just a rolling rack kind of thing. And like my pressed flower shawl and my magnolia bloom, my swan show. Oh, this was the Rhinebeck sweater that we won. That was Sarah's. I can't remember what that one's called. Oh, there are the shoes. I mean, these are the socks. I told you I finished a pair of socks. Well, there they are. Hot sock. This is Bowie 25. Like there's two of them. Fish Lips Kiss. 64 stitches on a size US0. Alright, so I got a couple babies I kept for myself, and these are minis. So this is the other side of the room, okay? Other side of the room. This was my Advent. I had Bowie Advent, and then I had the Sound of Music Advent, and I kept my kind of poster board where you could see the color inspo. But this is where, this is sort of a catch-all. Like, I'm going to flash it because it's not very pretty. It's like a catch-all, you know, my bags that I ship my things out with, and here are the minis. These are minis that I have collected over the years. Yeah. A couple projects here and there. Like this is, let's see, I'm going to start something with this. I just don't know what yet. I only have 4 skeins. I'm not exactly sure what to do with it. I don't love it. I mean, I have to knit with it first. It's too soon to say, but it doesn't feel great. So, let's see. Nail polish, lotion, and some, you know, little odds and ends and bits and bobs. Like I was doing this gorgeous scarf for a friend and I lost wind. But look at how gorgeous this is. I'm thinking of maybe making it into a cowl. This is, it's pretty long, but. And then the tea that I put in to people's purchases. And iron the silk scarves. And so that's my office. So a little point chair I really like. Typically I will sit there. And let me back away so you can kind of get the sense of the room a bit. Get it? You got it? Get it? That's my office, and that's where I podcast. Thanks for coming with me into my office. I have to show you this. This is so cute. I had this, it's sort of falling down now, but this is a Christmas card that I made into a poster with Ben. This is when I worked for Knitting Fever, obviously. Isn't that cute? Oh, Ben, you're so cute. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little jaunt around my office. And as you can see, I have lots of stash yarn and old discontinued colors of skein cocaine. And that's another thing I want to talk to you about. I'm phasing out skein cocaine. I am going to phase it out because none of the algorithms on any of my social media sites, you know, they don't like it. So, you know, Instagram deleted me. I lost my 48,000 followers. Google and YouTube are the same, and they were starting to delete certain things on my channel. They were starting to do some funny stuff, so I had to change my channel name from Misadventures of Skein Cocaine to, it's now Gina's Knit Club. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition into Gina's Knit Club. And okay, like it, don't like it, I don't really care. I got to do something, and I have to just phase out the skein cocaine. I have to get the cocaine. In fact, me even saying that word right now might make it so that you don't see this video. I don't know. So I might bleep it out. I don't know. But I have to rebrand. I have to have a new logo, and I haven't done that yet. But I will do that. So thanks for sticking with me. And again, I'm sorry about the last video. If you were offended by it, it really is not my intention. My intention is mainly to spark conversation so that we can talk about what's going on, because you know, I think we learn about each other that way, and we can, you know, we have to be more empathetic as a nation, I feel. How about that Super Bowl show with Kendrick Lamar? I mean, I could spend an entire 2 hours talking about that, analyzing every aspect of it. I can't get enough. I'm obsessed. I love him. I'm obsessed. It's starting to tamp down a little bit because I've listened to the halftime show probably, 200 times already, because it's like, 14 minutes. So if I go run on the treadmill at the gym, or I do some weight training, I will put that on and just listen to 14 minutes of medleys of Kendrick Lamar on the halftime show. And I know I'm old, and I know it's probably extremely cringe for younger people to hear me say that, but I am, how old do I feel? I guess I feel about 30, but I mean, I still am, you know, I feel sometimes like a teenager. I still feel like the same person. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, who in the hell, you know, who is this? Whose hair is going away? Whose hair is gray? Where are the bags? The neck? Oh my God, my neck. You know, but I feel, you know, like this young person inside. So I still like very similar things. I still like, you know, certain music, and I want to be on top of the trends. I want to be stay relevant. I want to not just go off, you know, and be put out to pasture. I'm not ready for that yet. Someday I may get there. This I know has to go. I know it doesn't work with the face. I get it. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I kind of want like because I'm losing my hair and my forehead is getting wider and wider, I kind of would like to get those kind of like thick fringy bangs and some layers and stuff, and maybe, you know, like I don't know. I can't decide what I want to do yet, but I got to do something, because I know that this can't stay this way. And it's not that it's like there's any rules, like I can't have long hair, but it's just harder and harder to make it look good. It's harder and harder. It gets thinner towards the ends. Like I said, I'm losing my hair. It's just getting harder and harder to make it look good. So most of the time I just throw it back in a ponytail and go work out or whatever. But, you know, I do have to go out in public every so often. And this is what I'm dealing with here. And so I have to tune up. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks for joining me. And I hope that you're loving your knitting and crochet. I had a lot of crochet in this video this time. All right. Bye. Love you.